Going to new places can be a truly wonderful experience, but the journey to get there, not so much. Although traveling can be exhausting and stressful, you can minimize the chances of having a terrible experience by having proper documentation and following the rules. However, some travelers have decided that these rules don't apply to them, and they ended up paying the price. These are the craziest items people brought through customs. Some people don't like banks or cards. They prefer hard cash. And sometimes these people like to carry this hard cash with them when traveling. Now, if you're traveling on a domestic flight, there's no real limit to the amount of money you can carry, and you don't have to declare it. But these rules are different for international flights, where you are required to declare any amount of money you have if it's over $10,000. Well, these next travelers didn't want to play by the rules, so they decided to disguise their money by doing something quite unique: baking it into pastries. Yes, in 2012, a group of German smugglers carefully baked large sums of cash into pastries in an attempt to avoid having to declare it with customs. In the end, the money was confiscated and the pastries were tossed in the trash. Seriously, what a waste of perfectly good pastries. People are always finding new and creative ways to move their illegal substances across the world. And they don't care if they're using beloved children's toys to do it. In 2007, a traveler tried to bring ecstasy tablets through the airport in Sydney, Australia. And they did this by stuffing them inside a Mr. Potato Head toy. They not only committed a serious crime, but stole poor Mr. Potato Head's innocence while doing so. They should be ashamed of themselves. If you're a fan of the classic Pixar franchise Toy Story, then you're familiar with the main character, Woody. Now, what has always been interesting about Woody's character is that he is a cowboy with a holster, but he doesn't seem to ever be seen with a gun. Although we're unsure of whether or not Woody has a gun in the movies, it seems that the toy manufacturers make a teeny tiny gun for Woody's holster. In 2014, a customs official at Heathrow Airport in England seized a tiny toy gun from a Woody toy. Now, this passenger obviously couldn't do any harm with this miniature toy gun, but it was still taken away. Meanwhile, another passenger tried to bring a huge power chainsaw through a New York airport just 2 years before, and was allowed to board the plane with it as long as he removed the fuel. How strange. If you get hungry while traveling, but you don't want anything that's too heavy, bring some dried food with you. Dried fruit, snacking seeds, beef jerky, those are all great options. Well, these passengers brought something that was dried, but it wasn't food. It was seahorses. Yes, customs agents once found a freight package full of dried seahorses in a German airport. 844 of them, to be exact. In Eastern countries, it is believed that the powder from dried seahorses has healing effects and can also be used as a natural Viagra. It is also a popular ingredient used in traditional Chinese medicine. With all its supposed healing powers, it's no wonder someone tried to sneak 844 pieces of the stuff through customs. Several travelers have tried to bring animal taxidermy through customs on multiple occasions. And if you're not familiar with taxidermy, it is the art of preserving an animal's body by mounting it or stuffing it so it can be displayed or studied. The UK Border Patrol has strict rules against bringing endangered species into the country, and this includes taxidermy. But some people don't care about this rule and have tried to bring all kinds of animals into the country. In the UK alone, customs officers have confiscated everything from crocodile heads to monkey skulls to bear heads to whole cats. I mean, look at all those animals. One of the biggest rules when traveling is making sure to declare any live animals that you're transporting. This rule applies no matter where you're going or coming from. Well, this next traveler blatantly ignored this rule and tried to sneak live animals through customs at the Miami International Airport in Florida. The passenger decided to put 22 live eels in plastic bags and tuck them away in their checked bag. This quickly backfired as the passenger was caught and was probably charged a hefty fee. And we can't forget the woman who was also caught attempting to smuggle more than 150 tropical fish into Australia. She stuffed bags of fish into a specially made apron that she tied around her waist and wore underneath her skirt. I mean, go hard or go home, right? It's not uncommon to carry a few food items and snacks with you while traveling. After all, we all like to have a taste of home when we're away from home. This next traveler took this to the extreme and tried to bring a roasted pig's head from Ecuador through customs. While walking through the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, a passenger was stopped by Hardy the Beagle. And who is Hardy the Beagle, you might ask? Well, he's the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agriculture Detector Canine. Or, in simpler terms, the crime-fighting dog that's on the airport's payroll. In the end, Customs took that pig head from this traveler and destroyed it to avoid introducing classical swine fever, foot and mouth disease, and other animal-related diseases. This traveler could have almost gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for that meddling dog. Now, we thought this one was pretty obvious, but we'll give this person the benefit of the doubt and assume they've been living under a rock. This traveler tried to bring a hand grenade through customs at the Los Angeles International Airport, and naturally, this raised some eyebrows. Although it was a deactivated hand grenade from World War II, authorities still arrested the passenger, who was later released on bail. Here's a word of advice for all future travelers. Don't try to bring weapons through customs, whether they're deactivated or not. In 2010, a passenger traveling from Thailand to Iran thought they could get away with smuggling an animal through customs. And let's be clear, this was not just any old animal. This was a live tiger cub. At first, the Iranian customs officials thought it was just a stuffed toy tiger, but they quickly became surprised when they realized what it actually was. It was a live tiger cub that had been sedated for the journey and was intended to become a domestic pet. As sad as this is, the cub was saved and taken back to Thailand, where it was relocated to a wildlife conservation center. These next 3 travelers were on their way to Egypt when they tried to sneak something you'd never expect in their baggage. Cow brains. 420 pounds of cow brains, to be exact. And what's even more interesting is that this was actually the 4th time that week that someone had tried to fly contraband cow brains into the country. Cow brains are actually a delicacy in Egypt, and buyers are willing to pay top dollar for these organs. In fact, it is reported that people normally buy cow brains in Sudan for a small price and sell it for nearly 6 times that when they get to Egypt. It is also said that they normally slice up the brains, deep fry them, and serve them in pita bread. Sounds pretty tasty, right? It was a regular day at the London Stansted Airport in the UK when one traveler decided to make things a bit more interesting. In 2007, UK border agents were doing checks when they stumbled upon a passenger with some unique things in their luggage. This traveler had a jar full of eyeballs, real human eyeballs. It is reported that there were 10 human eyeballs in the jar, and all of them were confiscated by the customs agents. We're not sure if it was 5 pairs of matching eyeballs or 10 separate eyeballs from 10 different people. And I don't even want to know what this passenger was planning to use them for. I know you're probably thinking, there's no way it can get any more shocking than human eyeballs. Well, think again. One day, Austrian customs agents discovered human intestines inside a Moroccan woman's luggage. According to the Austrian press agency, the organ pieces were tightly packaged in plastic containers and soaked in formaldehyde for preservation. I know you're wondering what possible reason she would have to carry these intestines through the airport. Well, the intestines actually belonged to her late husband, and she was bringing them to Austria to be tested because she thought he was poisoned. Although this one is quite unusual, we can certainly appreciate the love and dedication. Have you ever tried to bring any strange items with you while traveling? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, that can only mean one thing. You are seriously into some weird-ish. So go ahead and press that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more weird content just like this.